I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done, despite what some people in that country have done. So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK, of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, you know, my children my homeland. There is a lot of control and ability in my father's hands. Ultimately, this whole thing could be resolved through him, not necessarily by intervening, but by stepping aside, allowing the experts to do what is necessary and to carry out an RMB. That said, this all was initiated under a previous government. There is now a new government. I have had it described to me, once people knew about the facts, that this is an good old-fashioned establishment stitch-up, and that's what it feels like. There have been so many disagreements, differences between me and some of my family. This current situation that has been ongoing for 5 years with regard to human life and safety is the sticking point. It is the only thing that's left. Of course, some members of my family will never forgive me for writing a book. Of course, they will never forgive me for lots of things. But, you know, there is. I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. You know, he won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. As I learned through the First Nations throughout Canada, because of the Invictus Games, their goal in life was always truth and reconciliation. And I turned around to them in many conversations and I said, right, but reconciliation can't come without truth. Well, I've now found out the truth. I've shared some of it with you today. A lot of it exists out there, whether people choose to ignore it or not. You know, so it would be nice to have that reconciliation part now. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
Let's talk about the truth, not the tabloids, not the palace briefings, not the smear campaigns. Let's talk about the painful, personal truth Prince Harry laid bare, about his father, King Charles, the deep wounds of betrayal, and the poisonous rumors that should never have haunted him in the first place. Prince Harry, in an honest and vulnerable moment during a bombshell interview with the BBC, revealed what so many of us had long suspected, that his father, King Charles, is no longer speaking to him. Why? Because Harry dared to stand up for the safety of his family, because he wanted security, not just for himself, but for Meghan, for Archie, for Lilibet, his wife and children, his responsibility, and for that, for wanting to protect his family, he's been iced out, shut down, cast aside, but it gets worse, so much worse. In his best-selling memoir, Spare, Harry cracked open the carefully managed royal image to show us the raw and unfiltered reality of growing up in that gilded cage. A reality in which the very legitimacy of his existence was questioned. The British tabloids, fueled by palace silence and fed by whisper campaigns, ran rampant with claims that Major James Hewitt, Princess Diana's former lover, might be Harry's real father. This wasn't just tabloid trash, it became a haunting shadow over Harry's life. And guess what? Not once did King Charles step in to publicly or even privately shut that nonsense down. In Harry's own words, every single biography and long-form article has touched on this cruel lie. People treated it seriously. They speculated, they judged, they mocked. And where was his father in all of this? Was he shielding his son from the vultures? Was he fiercely denying the rumors to protect his boy's dignity? No. Instead, Charles made a joke. A joke. Who knows if I'm really the Prince of Wales? Maybe your real father is in Broadmoor, darling boy. He laughed at that. He found it funny. Meanwhile, Harry, the young boy who lost his mother in the most traumatic public way possible, had to live with that kind of humor from his own father. Let that sink in. Let's be real. That's not just bad parenting, that's emotional neglect. That's cruelty dressed up in posh British sarcasm. And still, through all of this, Harry has never returned fire with the same venom. He's never stooped to their level. What does he say instead? He says he wants reconciliation. He hopes for peace. In that same BBC interview, Harry said, "I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has." That is grace. That is maturity. That is a man who has been hurt repeatedly, yet still holds out hope that maybe, just maybe, his family might choose love over ego. But then again, the ball isn't in Harry's court anymore. He said it himself. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them. And sadly, it seems they don't. King Charles can't pick up the phone. Prince William can't make the first move. The same brother who once walked behind their mother's coffin with Harry, who laughed and cried with him through childhood, now acts like he doesn't even know him. And for what? Because Harry married a strong, beautiful, intelligent woman who refused to play the silent royal game? Because Meghan wouldn't tolerate the same racism, misogyny, and gaslighting that the palace expects of its women? Let's be clear, Harry and Meghan have never left their family. They've simply left the abuse. They've built a life in California that's full of love, light, and purpose. They're raising their children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, with kindness and freedom. They're giving them what Harry never had, a home not soaked in fear, lies, and silence. And while William plays the loyal heir, prepping Prince George to one day inherit an institution that devours its own, Harry is out here breaking the cycle. He's showing his kids that their worth isn't tied to a crown or a title, it's tied to their humanity. This entire scandal about paternity, it was never about whether Major Hewitt was his father. The dates don't even line up. It's always been about undermining Harry's legitimacy. It's about keeping him in his place. But Harry refused to stay silent. And by speaking up, he exposed not just the cruelty of the press, but the complicity of the palace. Let's not forget, silence is a choice. And Charles chose to stay silent when his son needed him the most. So if King Charles wants to be known as a compassionate monarch, if he wants to be remembered as more than just a figurehead with a crown, then maybe, just maybe, he should start by being a father. Harry has shown a capacity for forgiveness that most of us could only aspire to. Despite the betrayal, despite the abandonment, despite the worldwide smear campaign against him and Meghan, he's still extending an olive branch. But if the royal family can't even acknowledge their part in this pain, then maybe it's better Harry stays where he is, thriving, growing, and living a life full of genuine love. Because let's be honest, it's not him who's losing out anymore. It's Charles, it's William. It's the entire institution that clings to tradition and image over truth and humanity. So to everyone watching, let this be a lesson. Healing takes courage, and Harry has that in spades. He stood up for his wife. He protects his children. He refuses to be gaslit by a machine that chews people up and spits them out in the name of duty. And that, Royal Sussex Squad, is why we stand with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The truth about King Charles and Prince Harry's discussion over paternity. The Duke of Sussex has written about this touchy subject. The Duke of Sussex gave a bombshell interview to the BBC about his rift with his father, King Charles. Prince Harry revealed that his dad is no longer speaking to him mainly because of the ongoing row over his security arrangements. Their father-son relationship has had its ups and downs over the years, and Harry laid this bare in his memoir, Spare. Within it, he touched upon the controversies around whether Charles is Harry's biological father. Harry grew up with press speculation that Princess Diana's former lover, Major James Hewitt, was in fact his real father, and he addressed the rumors in his book, revealing that his father had never set the record straight to him. The paternity of Prince Harry has been questioned. To this day, nearly every biography of me, every longish profile in a paper or magazine, touches on Major Hewitt, treats the prospect of his paternity with some seriousness, including a description of the moment Pa finally sat me down for a proper heart-to-heart, reassuring me that Major Hewitt wasn't my real father. Vivid scene, poignant, moving, and wholly made up. If Pa had any thoughts about Major Hewitt, he kept them to himself. Harry also admitted that Charles had made a distasteful joke about not being his father. Prince Harry wants to make amend. Who knows if I'm really the Prince of Wales? Who knows if I'm even your real father? Maybe your real father is in Broadmoor, darling boy. He'd laugh and laugh, though it was a remarkably unfunny joke, given the rumor circulating just then that my actual father was one of Mummy's former lovers. Harry's reconciliation hopes, Prince Harry asks his family for reconciliation. Harry wants to build bridges with his estranged father, and in the BBC interview he said, "I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore," he told the network. "Life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff." However, he conceded that any reconciliation would be in his family's hands, adding, "If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them." William and Harry's relationship. The brothers are no longer speaking. As well as having no relationship with his father at present, Harry does not speak to his brother Prince William either. The royal brothers seem to share an unbreakable bond in childhood, but there have been growing reports about a long-standing rivalry. The last time William and Harry were seen close together was when they conducted a walkabout following Queen Elizabeth II's death. They were both present at King Charles's coronation but sat apart. William has an established life here in the UK, with his wife Princess Kate and 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. He is dedicated to his role as heir, and is also busy prepping his son George for king responsibilities one day. Meanwhile, Harry has a wholesome life stateside with his wife Meghan Markle, and their 2 children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Now if you believe in truth, in love, in accountability, and in breaking toxic cycles, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Show your support by tapping that super thanks button to help us keep speaking the truth. Let's lift up voices that have been silenced for too long, and call out the cruelty that too many still try to justify. Because here on Royal Sussex Squad, we don't play nice with bullies. We protect our own. Until next time, stay bold, stay loud, and stay Royal Sussex strong.